Uh-oh, you did.
But now I'm here.
Now you're here. All right, Laura's here, and there was 32 people that have signed up, and I had a couple of people, and I love your sticky notes. Thank you. I see them. I receive them. They're so good. Um, Hopefully some more people are going to join us. If they don't, we're going to go through this just as if, and they'll get the replay. But I do know that I had two more people that specifically told me they were going to be here. So I'm going to give them just a minute, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I am not where I normally am. My mom had a, a heart catheter done today. This morning, we had to leave my sister's house at 5:15 a.m. And so she's already done and in recovery. And so I came back and I told Laura, I said, I'm going to sleep after we're done with this. And so I'm glad my mom's okay. But Laura works with me at your admin ninja. She is been with me now for 4 years. Is that right, Laura? 4 years. And I could not do what I do without her. Legit. You we have an amazing team, but Laura is my admin. She's the one when I need something I go to. So I'm happy she's here with us today. Let me make sure. I think I have everything ready. Close down a couple of things so that all we see. I already hit record. All right. Because we have some stuff to cover. It will go faster if there's just a couple of people, but I still want to honor everybody's time. So, Laura, your co host, let people in, and you have all the links that we need to share. All right. So, what we're going to do today is I'm going to do a quick demo of what Retention Made Simple is, and it allows you to build client loyalty in 100 days or less. And yes, I'm known for saying now that you can actually double your revenue without even getting any more clients. And you really can do that with this process. And then, Jeff, I know you were asking about one of the things I said on one of the videos about how you can get more referrals without even having to ask. And so we're going to cover some of that in the demo, but then I also have the training. And today, the training is going to be about how to become a partner, not a vendor. That way, they keep coming back to you over and over again without doing the price checking and all those things. And a quick example I have of that I've been in business for 6.5 years, and I've been doing this process all along. I've just gotten now to the point where I'm teaching other small business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches how to do the same thing. And I always say I don't do high ticket sales. You think of high ticket, 4, 5, $6,000 or more. And we're an admin company. We don't do high ticket. But one of my clients that I know for a fact, he gets a ton of people saying, hey, if you're looking for a virtual admin, I am a virtual admin, but he's been with us since the beginning. And I did the math about a month ago, and he's paid us over $60,000. So when you keep a client longer, it really can impact your bottom line. And so, Jeff, you're here today. I'm going to ask you a few questions if that's okay. And I know a little bit about your stuff, and I also know that you're semi-retired. And so what I would like to use is thinking back on your process with being a process server. And I do the same process that I'm going to be talking about with Monty stuff. So I'm familiar with a lot of your stuff, but knowing that you're semi-retired, but you're still doing some process serving, you're definitely running the directory, which this will apply to the directory as well. If you were able to sign up somebody for one of your services, or one of the things you're offering, what would it mean to you to keep your clients longer? What is your goal when it comes to that for keeping clients longer?
Thanks for the invite, by the way. Appreciate it. I'm glad that your mom's in recovery and hopefully back home. I think you said.
Yeah.
Okay. It's really hard to get loyal clients to switch and come on board So you really have to sell yourself to them as to the services that you can offer them that are above the norm, because otherwise they're not going to switch unless their server dies or is totally retired. I learned that 31 years ago.
Yeah.
So once you get them, you just have to keep giving them the service that you're accustomed to doing, and then hopefully they'll turn around and do what you said is they'll refer you out to other people when they say, "Hey, do you know a process server in that area that might be able to help us?"
Yeah, for sure. So what I hear you saying is you work really hard to get this new client, and then you want to be able to know you've done everything you can to give them the proper service so that they will keep coming back.
Correct. I've lost a couple of clients over time for stupid reasons, not and but yeah, that's very important. You just have to you have to be consistent in what you're offering and what you're doing.
Yeah. And so if you could only get business from your current clients right now, and you could never get clients from anybody else, either they stayed or they referred you, do you think that your business would be sustainable right now?
I really do. I know that might sound selfish or
Yeah.
whatever,
No.
but
You've been
I
doing this for a minute, so I expected that answer.
do.
Yeah, so that is the goal, to know that if you're treating your clients well enough that they would, like, you're gonna trust that they're gonna keep coming back. That means that even though what I'm gonna show you today may be something different and new, but you're probably already doing some of this on at least a partial level, right? It may not be the same exact thing, but you've gotta be doing part of that stuff, or this wouldn't be happening. You wouldn't be able to say that if that wasn't true. So retention made simple, what I teach, the process I've created that has just been born out of what I've done for years and years, is a three-part system. It's onboarding, appreciation, and feedback. And the really cool thing, and a lot of people don't know this story yet, I've been teaching this, I've been working on creating this process for a long time. And in August of 2025, I went to my dad's house for Monty's birthday, and he's, "Hey, did you know about Granny Iris's company?" And I'm like, I knew there was something, but he found her leather portfolio from 1975 with all of her documents, her scripts, the sample cards. It was called Client Relations Inc. And she was actually doing client retention and client care for insurance agents. When somebody bought an insurance policy for 3 years, she would send handwritten cards and notes to them, and I didn't know that, and that's literally what I teach, is part of what I teach anyway. And so this is just part of who I am, and I know without a shadow of a doubt that if you do a good job and you show appropriate appreciation and you ask for feedback, your clients will come back to you and they will refer you more without you even asking. So the first step is onboarding properly. And for a process server, what that looks like to me, knowing that I help Monty with this kind of stuff, is making sure that you communicate what's going to be done, when it's going to be done, and you're gathering any information from them to where you are able to get the job done quickly, because it's all about the time. Anytime Monty can get something done within 24 hours, his clients are shocked. And so that's part of it, but personalizing it a little bit. When we get somebody in, a really simple suggestion is looking where that server's at or the lawyer's at or whatever, and being able to look at where they're at, like in the state or the country, and ask them something that only would be relevant to that. So like you actually see who they are. So personalizing that is going to be really important. Here comes Terry Taylor. Good. And so the systems that I teach, there's actually a 5-part onboarding for um, five, 5-step part, whatever, you got me, 5 steps to the onboarding process. And 2 of those steps actually involve asking for feedback. For Monty's, I do it a little different. There's only 3 steps. But one step after every serve, and this is something I've never seen. Monty's done serves for people in the whole he's been on the other side of this. I've never seen anybody do this. After every serve, once it's done, we send an email saying, you're going to get a request to leave us a 5-star Google review. If you would not leave us a 5-star Google review, please respond back to this email. And we want to make it right because your experience is our number one priority. So you have to be willing to ask for feedback, because if you're not, then you're not. If there was a small problem with the project and they don't feel like you're willing to receive the feedback, then they're just going to go on to the next person, right? And then appreciation, there's a million ways you can show appreciation. And Terry, I see you here. It's good to see you. There's a million different ways to show appreciation, and most of them, or a lot of them, can actually cost $0. And in the community every week, I share something that's a $0 idea, a tip around being able to show appropriate appreciation. And so think about in your world, Jeff, and just you can give me an example of something maybe you've done or something that someone's done for you that you received. And you're like, oh, that's really nice.
I like the no cost comment from you because I, other than a verbal comment back to a client is great, and they more than likely won't forget that. But I have a bad habit of every time I go to the post office, there's a bakery less than 5 doors down, and one of my major clients is right across the street. So twice a month, I go in there because I'm not supposed to eating bread and fattening things, but I do. But while I'm in there, I buy a box of eight pastries and go right across the street, 10 feet, and I drop them off. And if it costs me between $30 or something like that, or maybe a little higher sometimes, that's well worth the
Yep.
hundreds of dollars that those people are sending my way each day or each month or whatever, and the referrals that they're giving. So little things like that go a long way.
Yes. Yeah, yeah. So back in the day when Monty was doing his process server stuff, in Fort Worth, Texas, there's a place that's still there. It's called Ginger Brown's, and it's a home cooking place, and they make the best cinnamon rolls. And so his deal was anybody that gave him $500 worth of work that month got a dozen cinnamon rolls. And these lawyers, the paralegals were all fighting. They wanted the cinnamon rolls. Some of the $0 things, though, that could be good, making sure that you leave them a Google review. If they're another company and they did what they said, they paid you on time or whatever the thing is, you can go leave them a Google review. You could, instead of just sending a text or an email back, you could actually do a quick video and say to where you send it to them. And I know not everybody's technically like their text, not their friend sometimes, but a simple video that you record on your phone could be great. And Jeff, I want you to know, I did get your Christmas card. I meant to tell you that when we were on the phone the other day. And I was really surprised. I teach this stuff and all my clients know it. And I think out of all the people we know, I got 3 cards and yours was one of them. So thank you. Those kinds of little things really do matter. And so when you onboard your clients properly, they feel seen, they understand that you're going to do the best job you can. You ask for some feedback and you show appropriate appreciation. It's just this cycle that continues. And what happens is if you treat your client that you're dealing with right now as if they're your only client, and that's the experience they have, that's when you're going to be able to start getting referrals where you don't even have to ask. What I would say is if you're wanting to grow from referrals on the bottom of your emails or different things, I just have a little sentence that says, we love referrals. We love referrals. And that way it's just putting it in the back of their mind. And 3-part system is pretty easy to do. You just have to do it. What I have found, a lot of people like, Is this just common sense stuff you're going to tell me to call and be nice to my clients? Maybe, but everybody, we know what to do, but how many of us are doing it? Right. And so retention made simple gives a way to make it a system, because what I know will happen is if you don't have a system and you don't have somebody responsible to do it, it will not be done. It will not be done. And so any questions on that? Any feedback on that? No, everybody good? Very good. We're going to talk about the
I'm sorry.
sticky.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I do have a quick question.
Okay.
Right. So I put it in the chat, but let me just ask this.
Oh,
Sometimes when that's all right. It's okay. I always get concerned or worried that it's like even in a restaurant, not just even in a restaurant, something like that. If if you ask for a review, does that kind of open the door to them if they're like really mad and they now's the time for them to really tell you that they've got a complaint? I know you're gonna say at least this way you can address it, make it better, but sometimes that concerns people that it's gonna open the door for them to complain.
so if there's a possibility that something happens, right? And there could be a little crankiness, instead of sending them the Google link, I would call them and say, "Hey, I just want to have a chat and acknowledge that this didn't go quite right. I want to know if there's anything from your point of view that we could have done better. What would you have liked to seen happen? Because your experience is our number one priority." And just ask. And yeah, I don't want you to get a bad Google reviews because you cannot get rid of them. And and that's also why we send the link right after they pay. Like they just paid, everything's good. And so we know that they're happy, right? And you have to be willing to ask for reviews though. You don't have to ask for a Google review. You could have a quick 3-part form that you create on a Google form and say, send that way it doesn't go straight to Google. And if they fill out that and it's all good, then send them the link to say, would you please put this on Google? But my personal belief is if you don't ask for a review, they're going to inherently, even if they don't realize it, they're going to think I'm just like, it's what I thought my experience was not important. They may not be able to verbalize that, but I know that when I get somebody asking me for feedback, I feel like, oh, wow, they really care. And that might just be because I'm hypersensitive to this stuff, because I know it and I teach it. And I get highly irritated when I see people just like I referred a friend and business of mine to a client that ended up paying her $10,000 for a service. And she didn't even tell me thank you. Like, really? I don't need. So, anyway, so that could be the case. But I would say ask for feedback. It does not have to be a Google review, because once like Google is forever, you can't get rid of that stuff. It's a good question though. All right. So what we're going to talk about today is let's just, oh yeah, the question. So we have a question, the problem, and then the solution. The question is, do any of you have someone in your life who only calls you when they need money?
I have children.
Yeah, we do. I do too. Yep. Terry, do you have anybody that just calls you when they need something?
Every now and then.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know you're in a different situation, Jeff. Terry works as a civil servant in the government doing social services and stuff. So your clients are a little different, but when you're only talking to your clients when you're trying to get money from them, you are that person to them. So if the only time I reach out and talk to my clients is to say, hey, pay your invoice, or it's time to renew, or will you send me a referral? And so we need to start having conversations and connecting with our clients outside of the billing cycle. And that is how you can become a true partner and not a vendor. And so the core concept here is it's not just saying thank you, while thank you is very important. The other part is as you get to know them, and if you're in communities with them or you're connected to them on social media and you see that they got an award or their kiddos got something, or they're Jeff, you and your bride have been married 38 years, right? If you post something and I see that you've been married, like it's your anniversary, then send some, hey, I saw, that you just had your anniversary. Congratulations. And so be mindful of those kinds of things to be able to really, one of my favorite things to remind people is our clients are humans. And we start to treat them like a human, that's when the connection starts to get a little bit closer and a little bit closer. And it's not that all your clients have to become your friends, but they need to know that you see them as a human, not just a dollar sign, not just a paycheck. And
So, sorry, quick question.
yep,
So you say friend them or not friend them on your business social media platform, i.e.
complete,
Facebook?
completely up to you. But if whatever I'm saying that if So, like, I'm friends with a lot of my people on my personal page. I typically do more of my business stuff on LinkedIn, though, just to keep them separate. I do have some on both. But the thing is, wherever you come in contact with them, if you're in a business networking group with them, or you're able, however you get to see some of their awards, and it could, in different industries and different groups, it's hard to know those things. So just be mindful or if you're talking to somebody and they say, that they are going on vacation in July on some big trip, and you just write that down. Keep a place where you have all their information. The next time you talk to them, you're looking at that information. And then in August, you're like, how was that trip in July? I promise you, they'll be like, how did you remember that? So it's about being intentional and it's about connecting with them in a way that transcends just the business. And so, like, and some people are just more naturally good at this, right? And so it's not everybody as this comes as second nature to me, but you don't have to be like me to be able to do this. You can just start to implement some things of knowing, doing the all. If you could only do one thing, proper onboarding is everything. Because when you do that right, then everything else flows from that. Yeah. So we talked a little bit on the demo about some $0 things. I wanted to brainstorm with y'all just a little bit to say, what are some things that you could do that are zero cost or close to no cost, right? So where if you want to reach out to somebody and it's not tied to the invoice, it's not tied to a job, what are some things you might think you could do? Hi, Dawn. Glad you're here. I'll get you the beginning of this so you'll have the full replay after. Anybody have any ideas on this?
And you already mentioned it, the Christmas cards or just sometimes I'd send out just emails, messages, with
Yep.
just saying hello kind of thing. Or if you see
Yeah.
him out somewhere,
Yeah.
to talk to him.
Yeah. That's good. Jeff, what were you going to say?
I was gonna say if you have time, maybe join an organization that they're affiliated or partnered with,
Uh,
whether it's Habitat for Humanity or something like that.
yeah. And so in the onboarding process, what I teach is an onboarding form of sorts. And you don't have to use an onboarding form. You can gather the data. But one of the things I like to ask is what are local nonprofits you support? And so and one of those things is because I like to send small gifts and things to my people periodically. And sometimes sending a $25 donation in their name and then sending them a screenshot and saying, hey, I just did this for you. And that makes a difference, right? you're supporting something that they find value in. Another one that I love to do is knowing that different things like technology's changing. If there's a new way to do something that I learn and I can send them a document on, and I know it would benefit them too, send them a note and say, "Hey, Terry, I saw this and thought of you and how what you're doing and how it might be able to help you." And that it's not attached to anything about trying to sell them anything. And you're not an affiliate for it. You're not trying to make some bank on the back end. None of that stuff. It's more just you're truly trying to see to share something with them. Another one could be mm, industry articles. And Jeff, I know with you doing process server stuff and things like that, things are always changing. The laws are changing, the notaries are changing, all that stuff. And so if you come across a really great article, say, and maybe it's specific to Texas or specific to North Carolina, and then you sent that to your clients in those areas, that's something that literally just takes you a couple of minutes, right?
Yeah.
Terry, were you going to say something else?
No, I'm good.
All right, very good.
I'm good.
Any other thoughts on this? Because every week in the community, I do a $0 idea. So as you're in there, you'll see those, and that'll help trigger your brain to be like, oh, wow, there's so many of them. Jeff, anything else? Don, do you have any thoughts? We're talking about $0 ideas on how to connect with your clients, not about money.
You hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
So I would just, in my opinion, I caught that one. So that was cool. But I'm sure you've got great ideas and I'm behind. So my
It's okay.
apologies.
No, that's
Uh,
okay. Glad you're here.
Definitely start with customer service, kindness, respect. That doesn't cost anything. So
Yeah, that's such a great reminder. We talked a little bit about that, but the way you just said it, kindness and respect, it doesn't cost anything. And so that's a really great reminder. What type of work do you do? What kind of business do you have?
we do, our main business is investigation,
Okay.
private investigations for the state of Oregon. And then we do process survey for the state of Oregon,
Okay, very good.
throughout the state of Oregon.
All right, very good. Yeah, that you may have come into my world because of Jeff then. So
Yep,
yeah, very
I'm
good.
sure.
Yeah. All right. Well, very good. It's good to have you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So the point of the lesson today, how to become a partner, not a vendor, is to build the connection, treat them like a human because they are. And appreciation matters, but it doesn't have to cost a ton of money. Everything I teach, you can do low tech without a lot of tech, time, or money. And yeah, it's a beautiful thing. Hang on, let me click here. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take just like 2 minutes, and we're not just going to talk about it. We're going to do it. I want you to think about your clients. If you have a client list or you have somebody that comes to mind when I say, hey, who as a client you could send an appreciation note to, or just something, who comes to your mind right away? If you need to look at your list, that's fine. But I actually want you to write out or email, type out, or put it in your phone. What are you going to do? You don't have to do the whole thing. You can finish it when we're done. But I just want you to take a minute or two, and we actually want to do it, because when we learn something and then we don't actually implement, to me, that's like wasted time. And there's an old song by Rich Mullins called "Screen Door on a Submarine." And it's like having a screen door on a submarine if you don't implement after you learn. So every week, these trainings are going to be a little bit different. The demo we start with just to give a super high level overview of what it is. And then we'll have a lesson, and everyone will be different. But every time we're going to actually do something to implement. All right. Give me just about another minute. Make sure you have what you need. And then once you actually send that message, I would really love if you take a moment or have the energy to just in the community on school, just to go in and send me a message. You don't have to do it publicly if you don't want to, but send me a message. Did they respond? What did they say? Right? Is because they're probably going to be surprised because nobody does this. The other thing is something that's really important to do that I try and do when I do something like this. I say, there's no need for you to respond. Like, you don't want to give them something to do or feel obligated. I just wanted you to know I was thinking about you. Have a great weekend or whatever it is. All right. Everybody got something? Y'all good? Donna, see you. All right. Very good. All right. When you show up for your clients outside of the transaction, you stop being a line item on a budget and start becoming a person they can rely on. That consistency and care make you unforgettable. And that is when you can start getting the referrals without even asking. Because if they know, if they're talking to somebody like, oh, I need to get information on somebody, they're needing to do a stakeout to find somebody for something, they'll know to call Dawn. Process serving, same thing. When they hear somebody that has a legal issue that needs to be dealt with. And Terry, I'm sure you're getting pretty well known in the community. Let me go, I want to show y'all just a few of the testimonials of people that have worked with us in the past. And after this, if it's okay with you, I do want to do some Q&A and see what questions y'all might have. But after this, I want to show you something, and I'm calling it an offer you cannot refuse. And you clearly can refuse. You don't have to do anything. Laura, you're laughing. I see you. But I do want to show you, and this may not be a good time for you. This may not be anything you're interested in, but if it's okay with y'all, I do want to show you the thing I've got going right now that would actually help you be able to continue to implement this at a fraction of the cost of what we charge our clients. Because what I have found over the last few years is that a lot of people want to start doing this, but they don't have the budget to pay us to do it. Most of our clients pay us between $500 and $1,200 a month to implement this. And I have a stupid good offer right now to where you can have access to all the tools, all the things, and get monthly access to me as a group cohort for a fraction of the price. So these are some of the testimonials of people who have actually been using the process through Retention Made Simple. And I'm not going to read all those, but you can, there's quite a few. One of my favorites, though, this client, this has been several years ago, but within the first year working with us, her business literally doubled. One of the women that, and we still work with this woman, they have annual renewal cycle. And she said, our renewal process has been so much more enjoyable and profitable. And so imagine being able to go into the clients and say, hey, it's time to renew. And that's not the only time you've talked to them, right? Where you're just going in and having a conversation and making sure it's still a good fit. And Sandy, this is Sandy Prophet too. She's a good friend and a client. And she's so funny. I see people on the streets and I say, tell them happy birthday, even though they haven't been a client in forever. And they're like, how do you remember that? How do you remember? And it's still on her calendar from working with me. Now we have 15 minutes for Q&A. It does not have to be about the offer. It can be other things that maybe came up while we're talking about retention, onboarding processes, appreciation, feedback. What questions do y'all have?
I have one.
Okay, tell me, Jeff.
So since the way I describe this at 67 years old. So since I suck at doing, they always have to use, I'll just use PST as an example. I know people don't like mentioning names, but it's the first one you can figure. Desi had PST has a lot of videos on how to do something. Okay. Instructional things on how to enter a job and so forth. Then you have to follow that, pause it, blah, 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 pause it, and then do it. I ask this because there's a lot of new people, a lot of new platforms. And then I saw when it comes to learning and watching these instructional videos, I thought I heard something about set it up or you do it for one of those bonuses. So where does that leave somebody who has very little skills when it comes to implementing these things?
So without implementation, obviously it's not going to work. So you have to implement it. What I would say is if you decide, so there could be, there's one of our clients that we have a crossbreed where she's really not a done for you client. We only do specific things for her. And so it could be that you need more than retention revolution, but you don't need us to be a full-time person. So maybe there's something in the middle of what you need. But I would venture to say, I've been doing this a long time. If you're able, are you able to go into Chat GPT and use Chat GPT?
I use it daily.
Okay. So if you can use the Chat GPT, the custom one I created, and answer the questions, that's going to give you the base of what you need to create. And then you get on that call with me, then we can set up some, it's really, that call is not just, oh, this is good. This is me using my brain of all these years of doing this to be able to help you implement in that moment. And then to show you, if you're going to do an onboarding form, this is where you would go and do it. And this is when you send it. And all that stuff can be done through Google. And then maybe instead of having us done for you, then maybe once a quarter, we have a check-in where we do another implementation session. But if you're able to make the calls that we have every week or month, we're going to be implementing in real time then too. That's why we have the implementation sessions, and that's why it's my favorite thing, is because then I get to get my hands dirty in the mix of saying, okay, this is what you want to do. This is what you need. So I think that part of the retention revolution is designed exactly for people like you. Because you need somebody to hold your hand, but it doesn't have to be all the time. You're very normal. I'm just going to tell you. So
I understood. And I appreciate you describing that. Describing that.
yeah, you're very normal. Like my husband, oh my gosh, he has no idea how lucky he is to have me. So I'll tell you, his process is when he gets a new paper, then we add them into my system that I do, and they will get 8 postcards over the course of a year. And some are like just holiday cards, but they're usually just funny little things of, are you looking for a process server? And we've created some fun things, and I'm hoping that makes them laugh, right? And just remember them. And it costs about $6 or $7 for the year for those postcards. And so we don't have to think about it. So I know every 6 weeks or so, the people that have hired him, they're getting something in the mail from him, even if we don't do anything else. And he has been in business again for a year after taking several years break. And he has as much repeat business as he has new business now already. And I know I believe it's because he does really good work, even though Jeff knows he can be a little cranky. Laura knows Monty too. Monty can be cranky. So
No.
sorry. I know my Jeff. No. But he does really good work, and we always ask for feedback, and we show a little bit of appreciation. But he doesn't do any of it himself. So, Dawn, do you have any questions? No. If you join the community, I don't think you're in there yet. Laura, drop the link for the community if you haven't. You maybe already have. But there's a bunch of free stuff in there. Poke around. We're going to do this every Friday at noon Central. and the topic will be different. I will always start with a demo. I try and keep those pretty quick though, because so every time somebody comes in, I thought about doing the training and then the demo. But if I do the training and they don't have the understanding of the process, then the tip's not going to make sense. And then we'll always wrap up with questions.
I like your short videos.
Oh, good. Thank you. Yeah. I forgot my hat. It's in the car. I was like, I turned on Zoom. I'm like, I don't have time to go get my hat.
The New Year hat.
Huh?
The New Year hat.
The purple one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Purple. That's it.
Yeah, the purple one. Good. I'm glad we're actually done a little early. I'm glad to give you 9 minutes of your day back. And you're welcome to continue coming back to these, whether you join the Retention Revolution or not. I am here to serve and to help. And my goal is to be able to help business owners, entrepreneurs, coaches, founders, people who are making a difference in the world by showing up in a way that makes the world different. And the fact that y'all are here shows me that you're at least wanting to be those people. And so I would be honored to connect with y'all in any way we can.
Thanks for your time. Those links, will they be on the community and your school community?
Yeah, I'll put them in there. I'll go do that in just a minute. Yeah. Terry, did you have a question, hon?
I just got to go back to work. Bye.
Okay.
Thank
Bye.
you.
I'll see you later. Bye.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to X out.
Yeah, I'm done. Oh, it's fine. There should be a little thing that says leave meeting.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dawn. I'll get you in the community in just a second, Dawn. All right. Very good. Y'all have a great weekend, and I'll make sure the links are in the community in just a minute.
Thanks, Sam. Bye.
Right, you're welcome. See you later.